Have you ever noticed how your muscles just don't feel the same anymore? Maybe you struggle getting up from a chair or find yourself catching your breath walking up a flight of stairs. It's a quiet frustration many of us carry, feeling weaker, slower, and a bit more fragile than we used to be. Most people chalk it up to simply getting old. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the loss of muscle strength isn't just about age or moving less? This isn't something most of us talk about, yet it quietly shapes how we live each day. In today's video, we're going to explore one surprising food that has been shown by science to help reverse muscle loss in seniors like us. It's a small change that can make a big difference in your strength, your balance, and your independence. I want you to feel hopeful because there's more power in your hands than you might think. So stay with me, and by the end, you'll know exactly what to add to your plate to start feeling stronger and more vibrant again. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Have you ever stood in the kitchen, staring at a heavy cast iron pan, and hesitated before picking it up? Maybe you used to toss it around without a second thought, but lately it feels like it weighs more than it used to. Or perhaps you've found yourself gripping the railing a little tighter as you climb the stairs, taking each step with more care, not out of fear, but out of a subtle awareness that your body just isn't as steady as it was a few years ago. You're not alone. For so many of us, these small changes sneak up quietly, woven into the fabric of our days. A little more effort to stand up from a soft couch, a touch more hesitation before lifting a bag of groceries, maybe even that quiet sigh as you rest your legs after a short walk. It's easy to dismiss these changes as just getting older, something everyone faces sooner or later. But beneath the surface, there's often a quiet sense of loss, not just of strength, but of independence. Maybe you've noticed it in other ways, too. The garden that used to be your pride and joy feels more exhausting to tend, or your morning walks are getting shorter and slower. You remember a time when you could kneel to tie your shoe and spring right back up, but now you pause, calculating how much effort it will take. It's the kind of thing we rarely talk about with our friends or even our doctors, because it feels normal. Isn't this just what happens after 60, 70, 80? Isn't it just a fact of life, something we're supposed to accept? But here's the question nobody asks out loud. What if it doesn't have to be that way? What if losing muscle as we age isn't an unchangeable rule of nature, but a challenge that can be faced, and even overcome? Most of us have been told, directly or indirectly, that after a certain age, decline is inevitable. The commercials, the magazine ads, even the well-meaning advice from family and friends. Take it easy, you're not as young as you used to be. We internalize these messages until they feel like the truth. But what if that's not the whole story? What if your body is capable of more than you've been led to believe? Let's pause for a moment and dig deeper. This experience, feeling weaker, less steady, or just not quite yourself, is so common among older adults that it's been given a name by the medical community: sarcopenia. That's a big word, but its meaning is simple. Sarco means muscle, and penia means loss. It's the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength that happens as we age, and it affects almost everyone to some degree. For many, it begins as early as our 40s, but it's after 60 that it starts to shape daily life. According to the National Institutes of Health, nearly a third of Americans over 60 experience significant muscle loss, and by the time we're in our 80s, the percentage is even higher. So, what's happening inside our bodies? Why do our muscles, which once felt so reliable, slowly start to shrink and weaken? The answer isn't as simple as just getting older. Scientists have spent decades studying this, and what they've found is both sobering and hopeful. Yes, muscle loss is linked to aging, but it's not caused by aging alone. Our muscles are constantly changing, breaking down, and rebuilding themselves in response to how we live, what we eat, and how we move. When we were younger, everyday activities, walking, lifting, climbing, gardening, were enough to keep our muscles strong. Our bodies responded to the small challenges of daily life by making new muscle fibers, repairing little tears, and keeping us strong and agile. But as the years go by, a few things change. First, our bodies become less efficient at using the protein we eat to rebuild muscle. This is called anabolic resistance. Another big term that just means our muscles need more encouragement to grow than they used to. Second, we often become less active, whether because of pain, fatigue, illness, or simply changing routines. The less we use our muscles, the more they fade away. Add to that the fact that our appetite sometimes wanes with age, or our diets change due to health concerns, and you've got a recipe for gradual decline. Sometimes, a hospital stay, injury, or illness can accelerate the process, leaving us feeling weaker in a matter of weeks. But, and here's the most important part, none of this means muscle loss is inevitable, or that nothing can be done. Decades of research have shown that the human body, even in its 7th, 8th, or 9th decade, is still capable of building new muscle. Our muscles don't read calendars. They don't know how old we are. What they do know is whether they're being used and whether they're being given the right building blocks. Think about that for a second. Your body still can renew itself to grow stronger even now. Let's talk about how that works. Every muscle in your body is made of millions of tiny fibers, each one capable of growing larger or shrinking depending on the signals it receives. Those signals come from two main sources: movement and nutrition. When you use your muscles, lifting, standing, walking, stretching, you create tiny tears in those fibers. It sounds bad, but it's the trigger for growth. Your body rushes in to repair those tears, making the muscle a little stronger each time. But there's a catch. This repair process needs raw materials, and that's where food comes in. Protein is the star player here. Without enough protein, your body simply can't build or maintain muscle, no matter how much you move. Here's where it gets tricky for older adults. As we age, not only do we need more protein than we did when we were younger, but our bodies aren't as efficient at turning the protein we eat into new muscle. This means that a bowl of oatmeal or a salad, while healthy, might not be enough to support your muscles. Many older Americans fall short of the recommended protein intake, not because they don't care, but because old habits die hard. Maybe you grew up in a time when meat was a treat, or you've cut back on certain foods for health reasons. Maybe you just don't feel as hungry as you once did. Whatever the reason, the result is often the same. Muscles that slowly lose their strength, leaving you feeling more vulnerable. So what's the solution? Does it mean you have to eat like a bodybuilder or spend hours at the gym? Not. The good news is, you can start making a difference with simple, gentle changes to your daily routine. It begins with what you put on your plate. Scientists recommend that adults over 65 aim for at least 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight each day, more than what's recommended for younger adults. For a 150-pound person, that's about 68 to 82 grams of protein daily. This isn't about counting every gram, but about being intentional, making sure every meal includes a source of high-quality protein. What does high-quality protein look like? You don't have to buy fancy powders or supplements. The best sources are foods you probably already know: eggs, fish, poultry, lean beef, dairy products like yogurt and cheese, beans, nuts, and even soy products like tofu. For some people, enjoying a serving of salmon once or twice a week is not only delicious, but also brings the benefit of omega-3 fatty acids, another nutrient that supports muscle health and reduces inflammation. If you don't care for fish, skinless chicken, cottage cheese, or even a glass of milk with your breakfast are great options. And don't forget about beans or lentils. They're a fantastic, budget-friendly protein for everyone. Adding a little more protein to each meal can make a big difference, but it's not just about food. Remember that movement is the other half of the equation. You don't have to run marathons or lift heavy weights. Simple resistance exercises, using your body weight, a pair of light dumbbells, or even cans from your pantry, can help wake up sleepy muscles and signal your body that it's time to build. A few minutes a day, a few times a week, is enough to get started. Let me tell you about my neighbor, Carol. She's 78, sharp as a tack, and always up for a conversation on her porch. Last winter, Carol found herself struggling more than usual. She'd lost her husband the year before, and with all the changes, she found herself eating less, skipping meals, and sitting more. One day, she called me to help her bring in groceries because the bags felt too heavy. "I just don't feel as strong as I used to," she said. We talked, and I shared some of what I'd learned about muscle loss and the importance of protein. Together, we made a plan. Add an egg to her breakfast, a cup of Greek yogurt as an afternoon snack, and try a bit of chicken or fish at dinner. She also started doing a few gentle exercises with a resistance band while watching her favorite morning show. 3 months later, Carol called me again, not for help, but to say thank you. She'd noticed she could stand up from her favorite armchair without having to push herself up with both arms. She was back to tending her window boxes and even joined a walking group at the community center. "It's not about being young again," she told me. "It's about feeling like myself again." If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Carol's story isn't unique. In communities all across America, older adults are rediscovering their strength, not by chasing youth, but by honoring what their bodies need right now. Science backs this up. Dozens of studies have shown that even people in their 80s and 90s can build new muscle with the right nutrition and a little activity. The improvements may not come overnight, but they are real and lasting. Better balance, fewer falls, more confidence, and a greater sense of independence. And here's the heart of the matter. Muscle loss isn't just about strength or appearance. It's about freedom. The ability to rise from a chair, carry your groceries, play with your grandkids, or walk around the block. These are the simple joys and essential parts of living well as we age. Losing muscle makes these things harder, and over time, it can chip away at our sense of self. But with a few small changes, you can turn the tide. If you're feeling overwhelmed or unsure where to start, remember this: you don't have to do it all at once. Try adding one new source of protein to your next meal. Take a gentle walk after dinner, or try a few sit-to-stand exercises while holding onto the back of a sturdy chair. Share what you're learning with a friend or neighbor. And above all, be patient with yourself. The journey to renewed strength isn't a sprint, but a gentle, steady walk forward. I want you to know that it's never too late. Your body is still listening, still capable of responding, still worthy of your care and attention. Every bite of nourishing food, every step you take, every gentle challenge you give your muscles sends a message: I'm not giving up. I still have things I want to do, places I want to go, people I want to love. So next time you feel that twinge of frustration when you stand up or notice a little less power in your step, don't chalk it up to just getting old. Pause. Remember what you've learned today. Your muscles are waiting for your encouragement, your nourishment, and your care. And as you move forward, know that you're not alone. So many others are on this journey with you, rediscovering strength, resilience, and the quiet joy of feeling strong again. You deserve to live each day with confidence, to enjoy your independence, and to celebrate what your body can still do. The road to renewed strength is built on small choices, choices that are within your reach, starting right now. So go ahead, add that egg, that spoonful of beans, that slice of turkey to your plate. Take that extra walk, try that gentle stretch. Your future self will thank you. Remember, every day is a new chance. Every meal is an opportunity. Every step is progress. And you have more power than you think. Let's walk this road together. Have you ever stood at your kitchen counter, holding a grocery list in one hand and wondering, what can I cook tonight that's good for me, but not too much of a hassle? Maybe you find yourself falling back on old standbys, a sandwich, a bowl of soup, maybe even some toast and peanut butter. It's easy to get into a routine, especially when cooking for one or two. The truth is, for a lot of us, meals become less of an event and more of a chore as we get older. Maybe your appetite isn't what it used to be, or perhaps certain foods don't sit well with you anymore. Maybe, after decades of preparing meals for a big family, you're now cooking just for yourself or your spouse, and it feels like too much work to make anything fancy. If that sounds familiar, you're in good company. Across the country, millions of Americans over 60 are facing the same quiet dilemma: how to eat well without stress, and how to make food choices that truly support their bodies as the years go by. What many don't realize is that, as we age, our nutritional needs become more important, not less. Yet, hidden in all of these daily decisions, there's one food that's often missing from the plates of seniors, and it's quietly making a difference in ways you might never have imagined. Salmon. Yes, that pink fish you see behind the glass at the supermarket or in those bright silver cans on the grocery shelf. It's a food many of us grew up seeing at special occasions, perhaps grilled at a summer barbecue or served with dill and lemon on a holiday table. But for most American seniors, salmon is far from a regular guest at the dinner table. Recent studies suggest that less than a quarter of adults over 60 include fish like salmon in their weekly diets. That means the vast majority of us are missing out on one of nature's most powerful sources of nourishment. Why is that? Why do so many of us, even when we want to eat well, overlook salmon? Maybe it's a habit. Maybe it's uncertainty. Or maybe somewhere along the way, we got the idea that salmon is expensive, hard to cook, or just not everyday food. It's easy to believe. After all, when was the last time you saw a commercial for salmon? The truth is, so many of us have come to associate fish with restaurant menus or fancy recipes. We might think, that's for special dinners, not for Tuesday night at home. Or maybe we worry that fish is tricky to prepare, or that it smells up the kitchen, or just feels a bit foreign to our taste buds after years of meat and potato meals. But what if we turned that thinking on its head? What if, instead of being a rare treat, salmon could become a simple, affordable, and even comforting staple in our weekly lives? What if adding just one serving of salmon a week could have a ripple effect, quietly supporting your health in ways you never expected? This isn't wishful thinking, it's science. And it's well within your reach, right in your local grocery store. Let's take a closer look at what makes salmon so extraordinary, especially for those of us in our 60s, 70s, and beyond. First, salmon is an excellent source of high-quality protein, the very building block your muscles need to stay strong and resilient. We already talked about how muscle loss, sarcopenia, becomes a real risk as we age. When your muscles don't get enough protein, they weaken over time, making everyday tasks more difficult and sapping your sense of independence. But here's where salmon truly shines. It's not just about protein. Salmon is also one of the richest natural sources of omega-3 fatty acids, a unique kind of fat that works wonders inside your body. If the word fat makes you nervous, don't worry. These are the healthy fats, the kind your heart, brain, and joints crave. Omega-3s are like a secret repair crew, quietly reducing inflammation, soothing sore joints, and protecting cells from your head to your toes. You might be wondering, is this just hype? Not at all. For decades, scientists have studied the diets of people who live the longest and healthiest lives, and one pattern keeps emerging. Those who regularly eat fish, especially fatty fish like salmon, enjoy lower rates of heart disease, sharper memory, better mood, and stronger muscles well into their later years. Some research even suggests that omega-3s can slow down age-related memory loss, helping to keep your mind clearer, longer. It's not just about the big things like heart attacks or strokes, either. For older adults, small, everyday benefits are just as important. People who eat salmon regularly report less stiffness in their knees and fingers, fewer muscle aches after activity, and even better sleep. The reason? Omega-3s help your body repair itself overnight, so you wake up less sore and more ready to enjoy the day. And unlike a lot of health advice, adding salmon doesn't mean giving up foods you love or adopting a complicated diet. It's about adding something wonderful, not taking something away. You don't need to overhaul your whole life, count every calorie, or spend hours in the kitchen. Just 1 or 2 meals a week is enough to make a real, noticeable difference. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Is salmon really that expensive? And do you have to be a chef to cook it? Here's the good news. You don't need to spend a fortune or take a cooking class. Salmon comes in many forms, and some are incredibly budget-friendly. Fresh fillets are lovely if you want to treat yourself, but canned salmon, often wild-caught, is one of the most nutritious, affordable options in the grocery store, often less than the price of a pound of beef. Frozen salmon fillets are another easy, economical choice and keep well for months. Best of all, salmon is remarkably easy to prepare, whether you prefer to grill, bake, broil, or even microwave it. A squeeze of lemon, a pinch of salt, and a dash of pepper is all you need for a meal that's both delicious and nourishing. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. I want you to picture a simple, nourishing dinner. A can of salmon, drained and mixed with a little bit of mayonnaise, some diced celery and onion, maybe a squirt of lemon. Spread on whole grain bread or piled atop a salad. It's quick, tasty, and filling. Or imagine sliding a fillet of salmon into the oven, sprinkled with a few dried herbs, drizzled with olive oil. In less than 20 minutes, you have a restaurant-worthy meal right at your table. Still not convinced? Let's meet someone who was once in your shoes. John is a retired electrician from Ohio. At 72, he found himself slowing down. His wife had passed a few years earlier, and with her went the elaborate meals they used to enjoy together. John fell into a routine of simple dinners: canned soup, crackers, maybe some eggs. Gradually, he noticed he was losing his strength. Walking the dog felt harder. Carrying laundry up the stairs became a chore. His doctor mentioned his blood pressure was creeping up, and his cholesterol wasn't where it should be. On top of that, John noticed a new, nagging ache in his knees each morning, a stiffness that wouldn't quit. One day, while chatting with his daughter, she asked, "Dad, do you ever eat fish?" He laughed and said, "Not since your mother was here. I wouldn't even know where to start." His daughter encouraged him to give salmon a try. She told him about the canned salmon she kept in her pantry and even wrote out a couple of easy recipes for him. John was skeptical at first. He'd always thought of salmon as something fancy, not a meal for a weeknight in front of the TV. But he promised to give it a shot. The next time he was at the grocery store, he picked up a couple of cans and a bag of frozen fillets, just in case. The first night, he made a simple salmon salad, mixing canned salmon with chopped pickles and a spoonful of Greek yogurt. The week after, he thawed a fillet, sprinkled it with salt, pepper, and a little dill, and baked it while he watched the news. Slowly, John began to look forward to his salmon nights. He tried salmon patties, salmon tacos, and even added salmon to his scrambled eggs. A few months later, John went in for his checkup. His doctor noticed he'd lost a few pounds of fat but gained some muscle. His blood pressure was down, and his cholesterol numbers were moving in the right direction. Most importantly, John felt steadier on his feet. He could walk the dog a little further each week, and the morning stiffness in his knees had nearly vanished. "It's funny," he told his daughter. "I always thought feeling weak and achy was just what happens when you get older. I never knew that something as simple as eating salmon could make such a big difference." John's story isn't unusual. Across America, seniors are quietly discovering the hidden power of adding salmon to their meals. They're feeling more energetic, less stiff, and more confident, sometimes after just a few weeks of regular salmon meals. You don't have to become a fish lover overnight or give up your favorite foods. But adding salmon, even once a week, can unlock health benefits that ripple through every part of your life. So, if you're standing at the grocery store, looking at the shelves and feeling unsure, remember John. Remember that your body is still listening to what you feed it, and small changes really can make a big difference. Salmon is a gift from nature, a simple, delicious way to support your muscles, soothe your joints, and keep your heart and mind in top shape. You don't have to do this alone. There are recipes everywhere, from cookbooks at your local library to online videos made just for seniors. Start small. Try a can of salmon mixed into your favorite pasta, or a fillet baked in foil with lemon and herbs. Invite a friend over for a salmon lunch, or share recipes with your children and grandchildren. Food is one of the great joys of life, and there's no age limit on discovering something new that makes you feel good. Maybe the best part is that salmon fits beautifully into so many classic American meals. Toss it on a salad for a refreshing lunch, tuck it into a sandwich for an easy dinner, or serve it alongside steamed vegetables and brown rice for a filling, well-balanced plate. However you choose to prepare it, salmon brings more than just flavor. It brings a sense of care, of doing something positive for yourself day after day. You've spent a lifetime caring for others. Now, it's time to care for yourself, in ways both big and small. Adding salmon to your meals is a simple act of kindness, one that your body will thank you for in strength, comfort, and peace of mind. So next time you're planning your week, write salmon on your grocery list. Try it once, and see how you feel. You just might discover, like John and so many others, that sometimes the best things in life are both simple and truly within reach. Have you ever noticed how some days, even before you've finished your first cup of coffee, your mind already feels foggy, your knees ache, and the thought of running errands or joining friends for lunch feels more tiring than it used to? Maybe you've chalked it up to age, or the weather, or just to the busyness of life. Maybe you've noticed your heart pounding a little faster after climbing the stairs, or found yourself searching for the right word in the middle of a story. Perhaps you've even joked with friends, "Oh, I guess my warranty is expiring." It's a way to laugh off the small changes, the aches, the moments of forgetfulness that slip quietly into everyday life. But deep down, many of us wonder if there's more we could do. Something simple, something real, that might help us keep our spark, our energy, and our sense of independence for a little bit longer. After all, we've spent decades caring for families, working hard, building communities, and savoring the moments that matter. Is it too much to hope for a few more years of feeling good, of waking up with energy and joy? Is it just the march of time, or could something be hiding in our everyday routines that's quietly shaping how we feel? There's one quiet, delicious answer that's been hiding in plain sight, on grocery shelves, in neighborhood diners, and family cookbooks across America. It's the same food we've been talking about, salmon. But while many of us already know that salmon is good for our muscles, what often goes overlooked are the deeper, more far-reaching benefits that this simple fish brings to the table, especially for those of us navigating the journey beyond 65. Let's start with something we all know: the heart. Maybe you have a little bottle of blood pressure pills in your cabinet, or a folder of cholesterol numbers from the doctor's office. You've probably seen headlines about heart health, or lost a friend to a heart attack, or maybe survived one yourself. The older we get, the more precious every heartbeat becomes. And here's the beautiful, science-backed truth: salmon is a true friend to your heart. In study after study, seniors who regularly enjoy salmon or other fatty fish have lower rates of heart disease, healthier cholesterol levels, and a better balance of good to bad fats in their bloodstreams. Why is this? The magic lies in the omega-3 fatty acids. The same gentle nutrients that help your muscles also act like peacekeepers in your blood vessels. They smooth out the lining of your arteries, help prevent the buildup of dangerous plaques, and even make your blood less likely to clot where it shouldn't. When you add salmon to your diet, you're sending a powerful message to your heart: I want you to keep beating strong, for as long as possible. You're giving your body the tools it needs to lower blood pressure, reduce harmful triglycerides, and maintain a steady, reliable pulse. But that's just the beginning. Let's talk about the brain, the seat of your memories, your stories, your wisdom. Have you ever found yourself standing in the living room, suddenly forgetting why you walked in there? Or paused in the middle of a conversation, searching for a familiar name or a favorite recipe? While some forgetfulness is a normal part of aging, it's something we all hope to keep at bay for as long as possible. The nutrients in salmon, especially those remarkable omega-3s, are like nourishment for the brain. Research shows that seniors who regularly eat salmon have a lower risk of cognitive decline and may even protect themselves from diseases like Alzheimer's. How does this work? Omega-3s are essential building blocks for the cells in your brain. They help keep the lines of communication open between neurons, making it easier to remember names, follow conversations, and even learn new things. They also reduce inflammation in the brain, a silent culprit behind many memory problems and mood swings. It's not magic, and it won't turn back the clock, but it does mean that every time you enjoy a salmon dinner, you're quietly investing in your own mental clarity, creativity, and sense of self. Of course, there's more to life than just numbers on a blood test or puzzle scores on a cognitive exam. Life is about energy, about having the strength and stamina to do what you love, to spend time with your grandkids, to travel, to tend your garden, to dance at your granddaughter's wedding. Energy is what gets you out of bed in the morning, ready to greet the day with a sense of purpose. And here, too, salmon quietly works its magic. Because it's rich in protein, B vitamins, and minerals like selenium and potassium, salmon helps fuel your muscles and nerves, keeps your metabolism humming, and stabilizes your blood sugar so you don't suffer from those mid-afternoon crashes. Imagine sitting down to a meal that not only tastes good, but gives you more energy to get through your day. Energy that's steady and reliable, not just a brief rush from sugar or caffeine. That's the promise of salmon. Sustained, gentle nourishment that helps you live life on your terms. The science is clear. Salmon supports blood flow and reduces the silent inflammation that, over the years, can quietly rob us of our health and joy. Inflammation isn't just about red, swollen joints. Chronic inflammation can creep into every corner of the body, contributing to heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, and even depression. Think of it as a low-grade fire smoldering beneath the surface, weakening your cells and slowing down your body's natural repair systems. The omega-3s and antioxidants in salmon act like a fire brigade, damping down inflammation, promoting healing, and restoring balance. This isn't just about feeling better today, but about protecting your health for years to come. Let's bring all this down to earth. How does it play out in daily life? Picture Dorothy, age 80, a retired teacher from Minnesota. She's always loved crossword puzzles and Sunday potlucks at church, but lately, she'd been feeling a step behind. Her hands ached in the mornings, her ankles were puffy by lunchtime, and the idea of making dinner felt overwhelming. Her daughter, a nurse, suggested she try eating salmon a couple of times a week. Dorothy was skeptical. She'd never been much of a fish lover, but she promised to give it a try. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. The first week, Dorothy made a simple salmon salad from a can. Just salmon, celery, a spoonful of mayo, and a squeeze of lemon. The next week, she baked a salmon fillet with a sprinkle of dill and served it with sweet corn. Little by little, Dorothy noticed a change. Her hands felt less stiff. She could play piano for longer stretches without needing to pause. The swelling in her ankles faded. Most of all, Dorothy's energy began to return. She found herself looking forward to social events, her mind sharper, her stories easier to recall. When Dorothy shared her experience at the next church potluck, several friends nodded in agreement. They, too, had started eating more salmon and noticed similar changes. One friend said her blood pressure was down. Another was able to walk further without feeling winded. It wasn't a miracle or an overnight transformation, but a quiet, steady improvement that made daily life sweeter and more manageable. You might wonder if it's too late to start, or if one food can make such a difference. The answer, proven by both science and stories like Dorothy's, is a resounding yes. No matter your age or background, adding salmon, or another fatty fish, can gently steer your health in the right direction. You don't need a prescription, a complicated plan, or even a long list of ingredients. You simply need the willingness to try something new, to nurture your body and mind with every delicious bite. How can you get started? It's easier than you might think. If you're not used to cooking fish, start with canned or pouch salmon. It's shelf-stable, affordable, and can be added to salads, casseroles, or even scrambled eggs for a protein-packed breakfast. If you enjoy fresh or frozen fillets, try baking them with a drizzle of olive oil and your favorite herbs, lemon and dill, garlic and parsley, or just a sprinkle of pepper. You can grill, broil, or even poach salmon. It's forgiving, quick, and always flavorful. If you like variety, try salmon burgers, fish tacos, or salmon pasta. The internet is full of easy, senior-friendly recipes. And if you're dining out, look for salmon on the menu and make it your go-to choice when you can. Don't worry about perfection. If you skip a week, just pick it up again the next. If you don't love salmon, try other fatty fish like sardines, mackerel, or trout. The key is consistency, not intensity. 1 or 2 servings a week are enough to support your heart, your mind, and your body's natural rhythms. And remember, you're not alone. Across America, more and more seniors are discovering the quiet power of food, not just for muscle, but for memory, for joy, for the simple pleasure of feeling well in your skin. Maybe you'll share your new salmon salad with a friend, or invite your neighbor over for baked salmon and vegetables. Maybe you'll trade recipes with your grandchildren or introduce them to the flavors that are now fueling your sense of well-being. Food has always brought people together. Now, let it bring you health, energy, and peace of mind. So here's my encouragement to you, from one American to another. The next time you're looking for a way to care for your heart, your brain, your energy, and your future, look no further than the simple, beautiful meal of salmon. Add it to your plate, savor every bite, and know that with every meal, you are giving yourself the gift of health, inside and out, today and for the years to come. You deserve it. Your story isn't finished, and your best days may be yet to come. Let's keep moving forward, together, one nourishing, delicious meal at a time. As we come to the end of this journey together, I hope you're feeling empowered, not overwhelmed, by the simple changes you can make for your health. Salmon isn't a miracle cure, but it truly is one of nature's greatest gifts, quietly supporting your muscles, your heart, your brain, and your energy with every bite. If you've ever wondered if it's too late to start, remember, the body never stops responding to care. Whether you're 65, 75, or 95, you still have the power to influence your well-being, one meal at a time. Imagine what life could feel like with a little more strength in your step, a bit more sharpness in your mind, and the confidence that comes from doing something good for yourself. It doesn't take a drastic diet overhaul or hours in the kitchen. Just a small habit, like adding salmon to your week, can gently tip the scales toward more vibrant days and a renewed sense of independence. If you're nervous about trying something new, start small. Maybe it's a can of salmon mixed into a salad, or a fillet baked with lemon and herbs. Invite a friend or family member to join you. Share your favorite recipe, or even make it a tradition. Every bite is a reminder that you're worth the effort and care. Thank you for spending this time with me, for being open to learning and growing. If you found this helpful or have your own story to share, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Let's inspire each other, because your journey to better health is just getting started, and you're never alone on the path.